What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. Shout out to you guys. We hit 1,500 likes on our video earlier today. And listen, before we start the show, you know what I need you to do? Subscribe to the channel. Easiest way to support Bears Now. Hit that subscribe button. Interact in the comments. Give us your thoughts. Like the videos. It really helps us grow. It starts by growing our subscriber base. We appreciate it. Lots going on with the Bears. Coaching search. One more game against the Packers. We're going to get into the latest here on today's show. Let's start with something that, well, would kind of suck if it happened, and that is Ben Johnson. There's some rumors, I'll say loose reports out there that suggest that Ben Johnson could be more interested in Jacksonville's potential opening over Chicago's. Albert Breer, he didn't directly report it, but when he says stuff like this, I listen. He basically speculated and wondered if Ben Johnson would be more intrigued with Jacksonville. And I think the reason is they're expected to fire both head coach Doug Pederson and general manager Trent Baalke. What if Jacksonville pitches Ben Johnson a, hey, not only are you going to be our head coach, but you can bring in whatever GM you want, and maybe the Bears will do that too, but B, you'll also have direct control of player personnel, or at least heavy control of player personnel along with the GM you choose. That could be a reason he would prefer that job. A weaker division could be the reason. He's very tight with Dan Campbell, so maybe not going up against his buddy twice a year would be a reason. There could be a lot of reasons. Less spotlight than Chicago, less pressure. Maybe he really likes Trevor Lawrence. They have Brian Thomas Jr., a stud number one receiver that's young. Now, I would argue that the Bears, for a lot of reasons, just when you add it all up, is a better job. I think Caleb Williams and his potential and the fact that you haven't given him $200 million guaranteed and have roster and cap flexibility, I think that's more attractive than Trevor Lawrence's contract and their roster situation. But the division's tougher. Bears don't exactly have a power structure that people understand, which is something Ben Johnson is going to have to figure out in this process. We'll talk about that in a second. There could be reasons where he would go to Jacksonville. Now, I do want to say this. To me, this would be a massive indictment on the Bears. If Ben Johnson looks at everything, because 80 plus million in cap space, 3 picks in the top 45 for the Bears, young ascending talent at quarterback who you haven't committed $200 million to yet, talent at wide receiver, the ability to add talent to this roster. If they cannot get Ben Johnson and he goes to Jacksonville, not a charter franchise, an expansion franchise that's done nothing in our lifetime, they had the one fluky year to the AFC Championship game, that would be a pretty big indictment on the Chicago Bears if he chose that situation over yours. That would tell me a couple things. One, you're not willing to pay up. 2, he doesn't trust the power structure. I mentioned those other reasons. Maybe he doesn't want to stay in the NFC North. Who knows? But I think that would be a pretty bad look for the Chicago Bears if he were to choose the Jags over the Bears. Now, again, this is early. Benjamin Albright also hinted at it being a possibility, something he's heard be out there that he could be interested in Jacksonville. It's too early to say. There's not hardcore reporting saying, Ben Johnson to the Jags, book it. But I think this is one of those situations where, again, he's going to be very selective. He's going to hold the cards in these negotiations. He has proven to us that he is willing to go back to Detroit. Like, he does not have to go take a head coaching job at all. And if he does take one, he's going to take one where he feels extraordinarily comfortable. Is that Chicago? Maybe. Is it Jacksonville? Maybe. Is it somewhere else? Maybe. Is it going back to Detroit? Certainly a possibility. And I think this is why we need clarity from the Bears. We need clarity from Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, whoever talks to the media at the end of the season about what exactly the power structure is. Because when they held that presser after they fired Matt Eberflus, and Kevin Warren spoke for 8 minutes without Ryan Poles speaking, and then Poles talked for 2 minutes, and then Kevin Warren said Ryan Poles is here to stay. He's the point man in this coaching search, but was hesitant when answering who would have the final say on who to choose the coach. He ultimately did say Ryan, but it kind of felt unbelievable, to be honest. They need to be very clear with us, but more importantly, these candidates. Hey, Ben, This is our setup. How do you like it? Like, and if he doesn't like it, you need to be willing to listen to the type of setup he wants because the setup you've had hasn't worked. That is just the bottom line. I just did a video earlier today on Ryan Poles, this whole debate whether he should stay or go. I think it's pretty clear when you just look at the data points, he's had more misses than hits. Go check out that video. It's about a 30-minute breakdown of just about every move he's made, especially every notable one from free agency, draft, trade, and coaching hire as well. It has not been that impressive, if we're being completely honest. So I hope we get that from the Bears. Do I expect them to come out and tell us exactly how their setup's going to be? No, I don't, because Kevin Warren, if he keeps Ryan Poles, isn't going to come forward and say, yeah, I'm running the show and Ryan's my side piece. Like, he's not going to say that, but at the same time, it's just one of these situations. And now you look at it and it's like, what if Ben Johnson's like, you know what? I don't like the uncertainty. If I don't feel 100% confident in what you guys are selling here, I'll just go somewhere else or I'll stay in Detroit. And man, I get, we say it all the time, the Bears are a joke. They're this, they're that. If he chooses Jacksonville over you, I don't care what the situation is. The Jags, they're a bottom 5 relevant franchise in the league. Say what you want about the Bears, they are very relevant. And if you're the guy that can turn them around, you're a legend here. No one cares what you do in Jacksonville. Unless you go full Andy Reid and win 3 Super Bowls there, Jacksonville's just another football team. It doesn't mean as much. Like, if you can't get Ben Johnson and Jacksonville can, that would be a big, big, big fat L when it comes to the Chicago Bears, in my opinion. All right, speaking of this, let's say you don't get Ben Johnson, he goes elsewhere. Who is your top non-Ben Johnson candidate? Let us know in the comment section down below. I want to hear from you guys. Tell you what, a guy who's growing on me is Liam Cohen. Bucks OC dropped almost 50 on Carolina today. He's got Baker Mayfield playing better than ever. Man, that guy's impressive. Let us know who that guy is down in the comments below. All right, more to come, including a Bears draft pick update. Plus, I want to talk a little Vikings-Packers as that game just wrapped up. I was waiting on that to end before we film. But first, got to tell you about our awesome sponsors, Rocket Money. Listen, December, I spent a lot of money. Christmas shopping, traveling, all that stuff. But you know what? I'm still under budget on the year because of Rocket Money, a personal finance app that can help you find and cancel any subscriptions you no longer want, help you set budgets and stay on top of them. And you can even negotiate to lower your bills by up to 20% when you upload photos of your bills, phone bill, electric bill, etc. They will find the best deals for you, sometimes by up to 20% cheaper. It's an awesome opportunity. Take advantage of Rocket Money right now. Go to rocketmoney.com/bears now. But I mentioned those subscriptions they can cancel for you very easily. What Rocket Money does is they will list out all of your subscriptions on one screen, and you'll see exactly how much per month and annually you're paying. $20 here, $13 there, $8.99 there. Most Americans think they're spending $62 per month. That number's closer to $300. And don't believe me? Download the app, sync up your bank account. You'll see. And if you want to cancel some of those, scale back, with clicking just a few buttons next to the ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money will get those subscriptions canceled, and you will no longer be having to pay for those on a monthly basis. So go to rocketmoney.com/bears now. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. They have saved customers $500 million in canceled subscriptions alone. 5 million customers and counting. You should be one of them. Plus, you can save up to $740 per year if you maximize your utilization of the Rocket Money app. So check it out right now. We appreciate it. rocketmoney.com/bears now. Link in the comments and in the description. Okay, let's talk a little draft. Of course, the draft is in Green Bay this year. This note, ignore the note. The Bears currently have the number 9 pick, can finish with as high as number 4, as low as number 10. I didn't update the note on this graphic earlier. My fault. Currently sit with the 9th pick, can get up to 4 with chaos, no lower than 10. So they are guaranteed a top 10 pick after what happened today. Here's the draft pick order, and then we'll talk about the Bears scenarios for Week 18. Patriots with the first pick at 3 and 13. Titans number 2. Giants number 3. Browns number 4. Or Browns number 3. Giants number 4. They just flipped. They're all 3 and 13. 5 through 9, including the Bears, are all 4 and 12. Jags, Panthers, Raiders, Jets, Bears. Bears are last because of their strength of schedule being the highest. And then the Saints at 5-11 at number 10. Let's just start with that scenario. If the Bears were to win next week against the Packers and the Saints were to lose to the Bucs, which they will lose to the Bucs, the Bears would fall to the 10th pick. But the games to watch next week, let's say in scenarios where the Bears lose, which they're going to lose to the Packers. I hope they win, and I do want to make that clear. I do want the Bears to beat the Packers, even if it hurt their draft pick slot by a couple slots. But the games to watch next week, Giants at Eagles. Eagles are probably sitting their starters. They're locked into the number 2 seed. So if the Giants were to win that and the Bears were to lose, Giants' strength of schedule would actually be tougher than the Bears. So they would drop all the way below Chicago. Jags at Colts. Colts are now eliminated. Could the Jags win again? I wouldn't rule that out. Jets versus Dolphins. They looked awful today. The Jets did. The Dolphins' playoff hopes are alive. Probably a long shot, but it's at home. If it's bad weather, Tua in bad weather, you never know. Could be Aaron Rodgers' last NFL game. Maybe he has a mic drop one more time. Who knows? Panthers at Falcons. Carolina had been playing decent before today. Falcons are going to be playing for playoff hopes, though, so that's a long shot. But you never know. It's the NFL. Raiders versus Chargers. I would imagine the Chargers are playing that straight up because they can still move up to the 5 seed. So that would be unlikely. But the Raiders have played a little better. They've won 2 in a row. So again, you never know. It's the NFL. We saw today. The Giants won a game that did not matter for them. So you never know in this league when it comes to that stuff. I do want to make it clear. I want to beat the Packers. I will be cheering for the Packers or for the Bears against the Packers. We will be live for that game. And if they have a chance to win, I want them to win. But if they lose, and they probably will, at worst, they'll get the 9th pick. And in crazy scenario, they could get all the way up to 4. Now, is that likely? No. More likely would be like maybe they move up to like 7 if they get a little bit of help. But guaranteed to get a top 10 pick. Honestly, it sucks that we're here again. But at this point in the season, at least, if you're going to lose this much, you get something out of it. So locked into the top 10, currently sit at number 9. We will see, obviously, how it ends up playing out over the final couple weeks of the season when it comes to that. Okay, let's talk a little Packers-Vikings here. Vikings hang on to win 27-25. They were in complete control. It was 27-10 midway through the fourth quarter, but the Packers got a couple of touchdowns, made it interesting, but Minnesota put the game on ice. Sam Darnold had a big game. I think he ended up throwing for like 375 and 3 touchdowns. By the way, just side note, and I get it, he's doing it with the new team now, but if Sam Darnold in year 7 can break out and at minimum look like a top 10 quarterback, and I would say for most of the year be a top 5 quarterback, don't listen to the internet who's telling you that Caleb Williams is a bust. Let's relax here. Caleb's much better as a rookie than Sam Darnold was at any point in the first 4 or 5 years of his career. So let's pump the brakes. He's got a lot to work on. His career is not over. It's just getting started. Let's give this a chance and get him a real coach like Sam Darnold finally has, and he's playing really, really well. I got to say, this sucks as a Bears fan and a Bears content creator that the rest of the NFC North is awesome. I will say this. Vikings being 14-2. I mean, what a freaking story. Sam Darnold. Kevin O'Connell's probably going to win Coach of the Year. Is Brian Flores a legit candidate for Chicago? I'd rather go offense, but I would interview that guy. Josh McCown, probably interview that guy. They got it rolling. The confidence is sky high there. And then you got Vikings Lions. Regardless if Detroit wins or loses on Monday Night Football, that is not only for NFC North champs, that is for the number 1 seed in the NFC. So there is a real scenario where a 14-3 NFC North team is the 5 seed in the playoffs. I mean, that is pretty remarkable when you think about it. But what a season Minnesota's having, man. It's the power of coaching, and that's what I wanted. Why I wanted to talk about it. The power of coaching in this league. You know, in the NBA, it's largely, do you have 2 stars and good role players? Do you have pieces that fit together? Obviously, coaching matters a little bit. I'm not saying it doesn't, but if you give me LeBron James in his prime and a couple other supporting stars, I'm going to win 50 games as the coach. You know what I'm saying? In the NFL, I mean, look at the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, a guy the Bears should have at least tried to get. Oh, he wouldn't have come here. Well, we'll never know because they didn't even try. That clip's been going around of Ryan Poles saying he's the head coach at Michigan. It's like, all right, man. Like, you could have at least seen if you could have gotten this guy. Sean Payton with Bo Nix. Yeah, Kevin O'Connell with Sam Darnold. I know they're having a down year, but Kyle Shanahan getting what he's gotten out of Brock Purdy. Like, coaching matters so much in the NFL. Like baseball, it's about payroll. It's about, analytics. Basketball, it's about, do you have a superstar and a couple other all-stars and some 3-and-D pieces? If you do, you're going to win 50 games. Football, it's all about coaching from an X's and O's standpoint, instilling confidence in your players, especially your quarterback. Like I watched Caleb, and it's just like, where's the structure, right? Who in this franchise is instilling him with confidence? Nobody. So the coaching hire is critical, and that's why it would be an absolute indictment if Ben Johnson chose the Jags over you. Doesn't mean you couldn't get a good coach, but man, that would be quite the indictment. All right, get the FGBs in the chat. Packers lose. Hopefully the Bears beat them next week and knock them down a slot again. They could knock them down to the 7th seed potentially, depending on what Washington does. My name is Harrison Graham. More content to come. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. We'll have an episode tomorrow morning. And then we'll be live for our Monday live stream, 4 o'clock Central Time. By the way, keep an eye on social media. The NFL schedule makers are going to start revealing when the Week 18 games are. I would not be shocked if Bears-Packers was one of the Saturday games. That would kind of suck because that would be a national TV game. But hey, at least the season will be over a day earlier for us. So you've got that. But keep an eye on that. I'll be tweeting about it at HGrahamNFL. Subscribe here for more content as well. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down, FGB. We'll see you soon.